Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against them.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test?
The buzz around Hollywood has always been rife with whispers and secrets, but every once in a while, a story comes along that leaves everyone questioning everything they thought they knew about their favorite stars. And this one, it's a doozy. So grab your popcorn because we're diving into one of the juiciest mysteries that's been making the rounds. Ryan Reynolds, the face of quirky charm and sardonic humor, has found his name tangled in the web of Sean Diddy Combs' notorious private gatherings. Parties so infamous that their very name sends shivers down Hollywood's spine. But could Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool himself, really be caught up in something this wild? Let's break it down.
And then also, it's still just a stain on your name. I get why he did say something. I mean, I'm almost certain he got a publicist that probably would tell him, like, not to. But when something like that, it's like, yo, come on, yo. Like,
yeah, I think that was the biggest thing.
He got a lot
his brand deals and stuff like that. I think
you know what I mean?
The thinking behind releasing the statement was like, it's moving already, and if you don't say anything, it grows bigger. But
now let's start with what's being whispered in the shadows. Diddy's gatherings, famously dubbed freak-offs, have been alleged to be anything but ordinary. For years, these events have been rumored to be extravagant, exclusive, and, according to some, downright outrageous. Stories of opulence and secrecy swirl around them with claims of only the most A-list attendees gaining access. These parties go beyond the typical glamorous Hollywood get-together. They've been described as spectacles where power, influence, and indulgence collide in ways that might make even the most seasoned celebrity raise an eyebrow. And as legal troubles now circle Diddy like vultures, these soirees are under an even harsher spotlight. But here's the catch. Rumors have started to suggest that Ryan Reynolds might have attended some of these exclusive events. Shocking, right? The man who's built a career on being the approachable, self-deprecating everyman of Hollywood suddenly linked to gatherings that are anything but relatable. It almost feels too far-fetched to believe, but Hollywood loves its twists, and sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. So how did Ryan's name even get thrown into this mix?
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
Let's rewind a bit. Recently, a clip surfaced online, since wiped from the internet, by the way, of Ryan Reynolds participating in a Super Bowl ad alongside Diddy. In the ad, they're seen promoting a mix of their respective beverages, with Ryan's signature gin brand and Diddy's drink taking center stage. Harmless enough, right?
For the last 10 months, Diddy, David, and me, Ryan Reynolds, have been hard at work on an industry first. A daring combination of daily owned.
It's just a fun bit of marketing. Or is it because shortly after, the whispers began, could this partnership have been more than just a business move? Was this ad a clue that Ryan was somehow connected to Diddy's inner circle? After all, Hollywood is a small world, and alliances are often more than they seem.
A lot of times you have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
Of course, the ad itself was lighthearted with Ryan's trademark wit on full display, but some insiders are pointing out that appearances can be deceiving. And here's where things get murky. There's been chatter about leaked audio that allegedly ties Ryan to Diddy's infamous gatherings. While the validity of the audio is up for debate, some are calling it heavily edited or even fabricated. It's enough to raise eyebrows. The suggestion is that Ryan didn't just stumble into Diddy's orbit for a quick commercial shoot. He might have been a regular at these elusive parties. And if that's true, it opens up a Pandora's box of questions. So, what exactly happens at these gatherings? Well, according to various accounts and ongoing investigations, these events are said to be anything but tame. They're described as lavish, multi-day affairs where the rules of reality seem to bend. Attendees allegedly include some of the biggest names in entertainment, all drawn by the allure of exclusivity and excess. It's been claimed that these parties operate under a strict code of silence, with non-disclosure agreements being the norm. Guests are reportedly handpicked, ensuring that only the most trusted or most powerful are allowed entry. And once inside, the line between fantasy and reality is said to blur. But what about the celebrities? Who else has been linked to these notorious gatherings? Well, names like Jay-Z have floated around in connection to Diddy's parties, though nothing concrete has ever surfaced. The music mogul's name has been entangled in its own set of legal troubles lately, which only adds to the intrigue. If these gatherings are as exclusive and secretive as they're rumored to be, it's no wonder that details are scarce. The elite crowd that allegedly attends likely has every reason to keep things under wraps for their reputations and their careers.
I believe that it opens yourself up to some negligence claims. Again, I don't know if Jay-Z is going to go that far, but certainly I think it does open himself up to some negligence claims. Maybe that was part of the reason why he dismissed with prejudice. I don't know.
And this is where Ryan Reynolds' alleged involvement becomes even more puzzling. For years, Ryan has carefully crafted an image of being the affable, down-to-earth guy who just so happens to be one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. His social media presence is filled with humor, his interviews are disarmingly candid, and his business ventures, like his gin company, have only added to his likability. But if the whispers are true and Ryan did attend Diddy's parties, what does that say about the man behind the public persona? Could there be a side to Ryan Reynolds that the world hasn't seen before?
And every day I'm working on that case. Every day we're figuring something out. Every day we're talking to investigators. And that's essentially what Alex did on this case.
Now, let's not forget about the legal implications here. Diddy's gatherings are currently under intense scrutiny, with allegations swirling about everything from misconduct to exploitation. Federal investigations have reportedly uncovered shocking details, and some speculate that it's only a matter of time before more arrests are made. If Ryan's name is truly tied to these gatherings, even peripherally, it could spell serious trouble. The FBI has been known to cast a wide net in these kinds of cases, and Hollywood insiders are already bracing for a potential fallout. But here's the thing. As of now, there's no hard evidence proving Ryan Reynolds' involvement in anything untoward. The leaked audio is questionable at best, and Ryan has stayed silent on the matter, refusing to address the rumors directly. Some see his silence as an admission of guilt, while others argue that it's simply a wise move to avoid adding fuel to the fire. Either way, the speculation isn't going away anytime soon. What's most intriguing about all of this is the sheer contrast between Ryan's public image and the allegations being whispered about behind the scenes. If he really did participate in Diddy's parties, it would mark a significant departure from the Ryan Reynolds we think we know. And while it's easy to dismiss these rumors as baseless gossip, the fact that they've gained so much traction suggests that there might be more to the story.
Walked away, got no money.
Got nothing.
Over.
And Jay-Z celebrated that, the fact that...
We should say, and it was filed by the lawyer who has filed a slew of lawsuits against Diddy.
As the investigations into Diddy's gatherings continue, Hollywood watchers are keeping a close eye on who else might be implicated. If Ryan Reynolds' name comes up again, it could change the narrative around him entirely. For now, though, the truth remains elusive. Is Ryan Reynolds truly involved in this scandal, or is he just another victim of Hollywood's relentless rumor mill? Only time will tell. And with that, we're left hanging on the cusp of another revelation, because while the whispers about Ryan Reynolds are enough to make headlines on their own, they're just one piece of a much larger puzzle. The bigger question now is, how does this all tie into the unfolding allegations surrounding Diddy, Jay-Z, and the dark underbelly of Hollywood itself? The answers might not come easy, but one thing's for sure, this story is far from over.
We've been reporting on like the Diddy lawsuits, right, for a while in here. Mm-hmm. Back in October, we actually reported on a lawsuit that was recently amended, as in Friday was amended to add Drewski and Odell Beckham Jr.
So let's not stop there. If the swirling rumors about Ryan Reynolds and his alleged link to Diddy's infamous gatherings weren't enough, there's yet another layer to this story that has people talking. Because let's be honest, when one domino falls in Hollywood, it often sets off a chain reaction. And this time, that chain reaction is leading people to question just how deep Ryan Reynolds' personality issues might run. Sure, on the surface, he's the wisecracking, lovable guy everyone wants to grab a drink with. But behind the scenes, it seems like there is an entirely different narrative unfolding. A narrative that involves power plays, alleged manipulation, and a long line of controversies that are slowly coming into focus. Let's rewind for a second and think about what we know, or at least what's been whispered, about Ryan's behavior over the years. While his public image is squeaky clean, there's mounting evidence that behind closed doors, he might not be the easygoing guy he wants us to believe. Take, for example, the ongoing legal drama involving his wife, Blake Lively, and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. What started as a professional collaboration on a movie has spiraled into a full-blown court battle, with accusation flying in every direction. And while Blake is front and center in this fight, you'd have to be blind to ignore Ryan's fingerprints all over it.
We just broke a shocking story. There is a rift, and I think that is an understatement of a word, a rift.
The lawsuit between Blake and Justin Baldoni is as messy as it gets. Blake has accused Baldoni of inappropriate behavior on the set of their film, and Baldoni has fired back with a counter lawsuit that's even more explosive. He's claimed that Blake, along with Ryan and even their close friend Taylor Swift, conspired to twist the narrative of the movie, going so far as to rewrite scenes and allegedly strong-arm him into compliance. Baldoni's legal team has even gone as far as to say that Ryan and Taylor acted as enforcers, pressuring Baldoni to go along with Blake's demands. And if that wasn't enough, Baldoni's lawsuit paints a picture of Ryan as someone who's not above using his influence to exert control.
So remember that what Taylor had told Justin was that Blake herself, she said, was Khaleesi, who was the queen in Game of Thrones, and Ryan, her husband, and Taylor were her dragons. Her best friend, although I think best friend is now past tense.
Now, let's talk about those dragons Blake mentioned in her text to Baldoni. Yes, dragons. In a message included in court documents, Blake referred to Ryan and Taylor as her personal protectors, her dragons who ensure her talents aren't overlooked. On the surface, it sounds like a supportive partnership, right? But dig a little deeper, and it begins to feel more calculated. Some insiders have speculated that Ryan's involvement in this lawsuit isn't just about supporting his wife, it's about maintaining control over a narrative. After all, when you're part of Hollywood's most talked about power couple, perception is everything.
A rift, and I think that is an understatement of a word, a rift between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. Taylor feels like she's been used.
Yeah, used in the middle of Blake Lively's war with Justin Baldoni.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't the first time Ryan's behavior has been called into question. In fact, there's a growing list of incidents that suggest he might not be as easygoing as he seems. Remember the drama with TJ Miller on the set of Deadpool? Miller, who played Weasel in the franchise, has openly stated that Ryan was genuinely mean to him during filming. And no, we're not talking about playful banter. According to Miller, Ryan's behavior crossed into outright hostility, belittling him in front of the crew and reminding him of his side character status. Ouch! And then there's Morena Baccarin, who played Ryan's love interest in the first Deadpool movie. While her character was central to the story in the first film, she was noticeably sidelined in the sequel. Why? Well, rumors suggest that Morena and Ryan had a disagreement on set, and instead of resolving it professionally, Ryan allegedly used his influence to ice her out. From press events to promotional tours, Morena was practically erased from the franchise's spotlight. Coincidence? Hardly.
Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped, and people began looking into it.
Let's not forget about Rebecca Ferguson, who co-starred with Ryan in the 2017 film Life. While Rebecca has never named names, she's spoken about working with an insecure and angry co-star who made the set so unbearable that she refused to act opposite them. Instead, she reportedly demanded to act toward a tennis ball rather than interact with this person. And given the timeline and cast list of Life, it doesn't take a genius to connect the dots. Could Ryan really be that co-star? If so, it's a far cry from the charming, self-deprecating persona he portrays in interviews. But the controversies don't stop there. Ryan's alleged behavior hasn't just alienated co-stars, it's also raised eyebrows among directors and producers. Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, famously exited the franchise before the sequel. While official statements chalked it up to creative differences, insiders have suggested that Ryan's desire for control was the real reason. Miller reportedly grew tired of battling Ryan over every decision, ultimately deciding it wasn't worth the headache.
And ladies and gentlemen, just buckle up. This is amazing. If you really want to get into how psychotic Ryan Reynolds is, the fact that he cast her as an expert for this will really clarify that for you, okay? I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be something important. No, she appeared as an expert to deliver to audiences what the definition of a bromance is.
And then there's the makeup artist incident. According to reports, during the filming of Deadpool 2, Ryan's personal makeup artist wasn't available for reshoots due to prior commitments. Instead of hiring someone else, which, let's be honest, is a pretty standard solution, Ryan allegedly threatened to blacklist the makeup artist from Hollywood if they didn't drop everything and return immediately. If you don't come back, you'll never work in this town again. Sound familiar? It's the kind of line you'd expect from a Hollywood villain, not the guy who's built a career on being everyone's favorite anti-hero. But the makeup artist drama isn't the only time Ryan's perfectionism has caused friction on set. Insiders from the Deadpool films have hinted at his micromanaging tendencies, with some crew members reportedly referring to him as the director without a title. It's said that Ryan often overstepped boundaries, reworking scenes, adjusting lines, and even dictating camera angles, actions that reportedly frustrated not just Tim Miller, but several others behind the camera. One source even claimed it felt like we were all working on Ryan's personal project, not a film with a collaborative team. And speaking of collaboration, let's not forget the curious case of Morena Baccarin, whose role in Deadpool 2 seemed to shrink overnight. While fans were left scratching their heads, rumors suggest that Morin's rumored disagreements with Morena went far beyond creative differences. According to Whispers, Ryan was unhappy with the direction her character was taking and allegedly pushed for her role to be minimized. It's worth noting that Miranda herself has stayed tight-lipped on the matter, but her absence from promotional events for the sequel only fueled speculation.
Poll, and so they are behind the scenes, not just lobbying. Allegedly, Jenny Slate, also Liz Plank, they are literally looking for any individual that will jump on board and solidify her statements that Justin Baldoni is a creep, and they are routinely and continually coming up dry because that's what happens when you lie.
If this all feels like part of a larger pattern, there's good reason. Even in smaller projects, Ryan has been accused of being hard to please. Take his earlier film Green Lantern, which, yes, was a critical flop, but it's been suggested that Ryan's dissatisfaction with the production played a significant role in the behind-the-scenes tension. From creative disputes to clashes with the crew, many feel that Ryan's need for control often overshadows his ability to collaborate. And while some might argue that his passion is what makes him successful, others wonder if it's this very same trait that could ultimately lead to his undoing.
Did he? Or didn't he? Well, if he didn't, he's got a lot to explain. Well, apparently what Diddy's done now, which is a very interesting thing, is he's on the offensive of sorts. That's right, Sean Diddy Combs has initiated a $100 million defamation lawsuit.
So what does all of this mean for Ryan Reynolds? On the one hand, his public image remains largely intact. He's still the face of Deadpool, still married to Blake Lively, and still cracking jokes on Instagram. But on the other hand, these stories paint a picture of someone who's far more complicated and far more controlling than he lets on. And if the rumors about his connection to Diddy's gatherings hold any truth, it could be the tipping point that brings everything crashing down. The thing is, Hollywood loves a redemption arc just as much as it loves a scandal. If Ryan can weather this storm and come out the other side, there's a chance he could rebuild his image. But that's a big if, because for every fan who's willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, there's another who's starting to see through the cracks in his carefully constructed persona. And when you add the ongoing legal drama with Justin Baldoni into the mix, it's clear that Ryan's journey is far from over.
Specifically challenges allegations suggesting that Mr. Combs and his involvement in the 2018 of his former partner Kim Porter, whose passing was officially attributed to natural causes by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office.
As the curtain falls on this juicy Hollywood saga, we're left with more questions than answers. Could Ryan Reynolds, the beloved face of Deadpool, really be entangled in Diddy's notorious gatherings? And if so, what does this say about the man behind the charming public persona? As the rumors continue to swirl, we invite you to share your thoughts. Do you believe Ryan's involvement is merely a product of Hollywood's relentless gossip mill, or is there more to the story? Could this scandal mark the beginning of a new chapter in Ryan's career, or will it fade into the background noise of Tinseltown's endless drama? Leave your comments below and let us know what you think. Until next time, stay tuned for more celebrity gossip and intrigue. Goodbye.